Joe, a playoff eliminator in the G5 this week. UNLV, Boise State, Friday night. What'd you think of the game?
I was diving into this and trying to figure out like who's got the best angle here. These teams are stupidly similar. There's one key difference that I'm going to get to in a second that I think everybody knows what I'm going to say. Both these teams have really bad pass defenses. They're giving up tons of yards to opposing teams. Both are over. Boise State's over 276. UNLV's 278. They both play pretty well against the run, only allowing 105 for Boise State, 3.1 yards per carry. UNLV 104 yards per game. They both have pretty good pass rushes. UNLV's got 22 sacks. Boise State, Ahmed Hassanin, 6.5 sacks. They've got 29 team sacks this year. One of the most productive teams in the country at getting after the quarterback. Because of the similarities, I come down to one thing, Blake.
Can I guess what it is?
What is it?
Ashton, Jeanty.
When you have a player that is so gifted compared to everybody else, he will be a first-round pick. He was projected as a first-round pick when I did my summer evaluations with me and Ryan Roberts. We were in on the hype train. This kid is unreal. He is a man amongst boys at times, and I don't think that this gives him a huge separation gap, but I think that the game is won or lost on a drive that Ashton Jeanty has a big play.
All right. I agree with everything that you just said. Every single thing. Joe, if you look at them, both are, one's 86 in total defense, one's 88th in total defense. To your passing defense comparison, one's 123rd, the other's 125th. Here's the thing about your thing with Jeanty. As a team, though, they have one massive weakness. Do you want to know what it is? Boise State cannot get off the field on third down. And when you face a team that can run the football effectively the way that UNLV can, Joe, Boise State's 124th in the country on third down defense. Like, we're borderline talking about how, like, hey, man, you've done some good things on first and second down, but, dude, when teams are lining up on you, your coaching staff is getting outright schemed and coached. And listen to me, man. Barry Odom and this squad is not a team that you can play around with. I'm with you on Jeanty. I really am. But there comes a part, too, where I'm like, bro, you're down there with, like, Kent State, who might be the worst team in Power 5. Like, You're there with UCLA, Joe, are maybe the second worst team in the Power 5, or Power 4, excuse me. Sorry, I get mixed up because we had 5 conferences before the Pac went shit. But Joe, when teams run the football as effectively as UNLV, and you can't get off the field on third down, that is a master for disaster. No, I'm not talking about the Turtle Club. Okay, that's a great movie reference. You wouldn't know that. You're probably still
Master of Disguise.
Okay, Master of Disguise.
I know that movie. I don't know why I know that movie. I've seen it too many times. A very random reference. To get back on track with talking about this game, though, yeah, I agree. That was something that stood out to me, that neither of these teams really have consistent defenses. If I'm comparing, though, where the flip side of this in the case for UNLV, like, I really don't think that there's like a clear cut, this is who wins the football game. This is one of those matchups where I think it's pretty even. You're not going to bottle up Ashton Jeanty, so that's completely taken off the table. If I see one comment that suggests, well, if we slow down Ashton Jeanty, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm actually going to lose my mind tomorrow if I see anyone comment that. But the difference, I think, Maddox Madsen has been fine. I think that Haj Malik Williams gives them more of an element at quarterback. He has been a great runner. He didn't start the first few games. He's leading the team in rushing, and he fits perfectly in this go-go offense and the way that they're using him. And also, Ricky White is also an NFL prospect. He's top 150 guy, potentially. He is a super productive receiver. If it's the flip side where there's 2 minutes to go, Boise State punts the football, and they got to march down the field, I feel like I got to lean UNLV to cap off a game and to win it because they've got a really good receiving option that they can lean on. What?
So who you? I thought you were taking Boise. You're going UNLV?
No. I'm going Boise. That reaction made it seem like there was a coach firing. I'm going Boise, but I'm just making the case for if UNLV were to win, they would need to have a big game from Ricky White and Hajj Malik Williams.
Joe, I've seen UNLV's head coach in the SEC up close and personal. Here's what I think is interesting about this game, too. They give up a crap load of passing yards. They did when he was at Arkansas. They have when he's at UNLV. You know what one good thing Barry Odom does effectively well everywhere he's gone, literally everywhere? His defenses find ways, even against great backs, to stop the run. Like every single year.
And also get turnovers, too.
Right. I mean, look, man, I remember, Joe, I mean, we're talking about the reigning Heisman Trophy winner from 2 years ago that he bottled up. Right? Like, I mean, like nobody's been able to stop Jaden Daniels from running. Who was another one? Bryce Young. Joe, I mean, you got Arkansas and Bama in a dogfight with Barry Odom. They can't run the football. I don't know what it is about that 3-3-5 stack and how he runs it and what he does. They just always go in there and make plays, dude, in the running game. Yeah. I think it's really interesting to see what Jeanty does. But, bro, if you can do that against Oregon, you can do that against damn near anybody. So it's not like that we haven't seen him tested. Right. It's not like I'm just –
no one's been able to stop him. Yeah, UNLV is not going to be the team to stop him.
I don't know. But all I'm saying is, though, that's his MO. Joe, it's his MO again this year. The best thing that they do as a team is stop the run. It's the best thing that they do. So, I mean – what's interesting here, Joe, this is a premier game on a Friday night, though, you know, and, Joe, this could be a playoff eliminator. I don't think people understand. Here's where I think that we're at with group of 5 teams like this and games like this. Teams don't understand that this is going to be, like, one of these teams could be in the 12th seed. Like, hey, if you lose your conference championship game, like, if you're Ohio State, like, hey, Ohio State, you might be the 5 overall seed. You might play one of these teams. Right? Like, hey, Oregon, you slip up against Ohio State in the Big Ten title game, you might play Boise again, right? So I think that there comes a part where, Joe, I think that this is a primetime matchup that nobody wants to discuss and talk about, but it has massive playoff implications. Joe, I'm going to throw this out there to you. Yeah. The ESPN FPI has a 46.2% chance of Boise State making the playoffs. That's above Alabama, Clemson, LSU, Ole Miss, Kansas State, A&M, and SMU.
Well, so, they all have very different paths in those teams, I get that, but I understand what you're saying.
But all I'm saying is like, hey, they are just as – because of the situation we're in, they're a legitimate chance to make the playoffs. But I'm with you. Ashton, Jeanty, running the football all over the place. Yeah. Give me the Fighting Ashton Jeantys.
BetOnline remains your top spot for all of your live betting action and contests. NFL, college football, UFC, NHL are all in full swing. BetOnline is your number one source for wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions with both desktop and mobile access at any time. Head to BetOnline today and use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for 50% off your first deposit. That is a 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline, where the game starts.